Hello and welcome to Tabletop Game Talk with me, Chris Dio. And today I'm going to talk about why I backed Marvel United twice. Well, Marvel United X-Men twice. There's a history behind this, and it starts out with the Marvel United Classic, which I'll get to in a second. First, we should talk about what is Marvel United and why Marvel United X-Men broke records for CMON. Almost $6 million, 12,000 shy. I assure you, someone over there is thinking, hey, well, let's just spend $12,000 and back our own game just so we can break that 6 million mark. Unfortunately, if they would have done that, Kickstarter would have been like, oh, project invalid, kicked you off, you're not allowed to back your own stuff. Anyway, long story. 25,404 backers backed this project. If we do some quick math here, let's see, 6 million divided by 24,500. Approximately $244 per backer. Actually, I think I did that math just a little wrong. Let's do it this way. But still, $240 per backer. That is ridiculous. This campaign was big. Now, granted, the all-in pledge for this was like $300, but still, that's a lot of money per backer. But I did it twice. So I took the $300 and I doubled it to $600, and that doesn't count accessories. I also backed some accessories. Why? Why did I do that? Well, when I backed the first Marvel United Kickstarter, that one I backed all in twice again, but I didn't back that because I thought the gameplay looked good. I really didn't think the gameplay looked all that intriguing at all. I just love chibis, and I love superheroes, and chibi superheroes said, hey, I want 2 copies of all of these miniatures. I backed the game for the miniatures. When I got the base box of the game and opened it up and I immediately played it, I'm like, well, I guess I have it was 12 miniatures in the base box. So that's fine. I'm going to have to wait another 6 months for the rest of the miniatures, and the game's okay. I played it on with the solo mode, like the solo alternative. And I was not enamored with it. I'm like, whatever. Game's not that great. I put it back on the shelf. I didn't really pay any attention to it up until a couple weeks ago. I guess about a month and a half ago now. When I got all of the rest of the Kickstarter. And I just started opening everything up. And all of these miniatures and all of the villains and all of the different heroes. I'm going to do a reboxing video to show you how I package all that stuff into a single box. You'll see that in a day or two. But I said, okay, I'm going to try this again. And a lot of people were talking about playing this solo, but multi-handed. So you'd play 2 or 3 heroes yourself. I'm like, all right, I guess I can try that. I normally don't like playing games like that. But this game is so easy to do that with. And so much more satisfying than the solo experience, like the standard solo rules. So I played through and I started playing through different villains. And I started combining different heroes. And originally, I put together a group of 3 heroes that was essentially impossible to beat this particular villain because my heroes were all focused on moving and punching in combat, and the villain was all focused on doing heroic actions. And I'm like, the hero selection, what you choose, it matters. And playing these heroes and seeing okay, these are just the wrong heroes for the job, which is fine. That's not that the heroes are unbalanced. That's, any comic book will have certain heroes going after certain things. Hulk's not going out to figure out master plans. He's going out to bash things. I guess Bruce Banner might be figuring out the master plan, but then Hulk bashes things. So it was just really cool how all this stuff came together, and the differences in the characters, they really start shining when you start looking at what team do I want to put together against this villain. Thematically, what team do I want to put together? And then mechanically, what team is going to work best? I really, really enjoyed this game. It's in my top 5 of all-time solo games, and I've never played it with another person. My wife's not really into these kinds of cooperative games where there's a lot of open information and one person could essentially play the game by themselves. Which is fine because this is a type of game where I can just open up, play. It takes maybe 20, 25 minutes to play a game. And I fell in love with this game. So X-Men, Marvel United X-Men comes out. And I knew right away I was going to back it. it was just a decision. It's like, how big a backing, and they revealed things slowly over time. So I'm like, all right, as I'm watching this, I'm paying attention. And eventually they just revealed everything they were going to do, because they're doing the all-in pledge. They give you everything, and boom, there you go. It's $295, and that doesn't count the accessories. So it's just gameplay all in. That's fine. So let's take a look at this, and let's just see what's going on here. So first of all, the base pledge. So this is X-Men United. The base and I'm going to call it X-Men United multiple times. It's Marvel United X-Men is the actual name, but I'll try to be Marvel United X-Men, but it's a mouthful. So X-Men United. The base pledge is $65. If you have not backed this game, if you're just sort of adjacently curious, and if you're watching this video and you're curious, spend the $65 to back this at the base level. Late pledges are going on right now. You can go to the Kickstarter page, click on late pledge button. It'll take you to right here, late pledge button. It's going to take you to, I think Pledge It is their late pledge manager. Back it, $65. That's going to get you access to the official pledge manager once it opens up, which is run by Simon Kaman. When it opens up. Why back it at $65? I think it's a no-brainer at $65, and let's look why. So first of all, you get the base game. It's a standalone game. You don't need the classic. So if you didn't get the classic game, you don't need it. That's fine. This has everything you need. It's going to give you, a set of, I think, 8 locations. If it's anything like the classic game, it'll give you 8. It gives you at least 6 because there's 6 locations in any given game. And it starts out right out of the box. It's going to give you 6 heroes, 2 villains, and 2 anti-heroes. And anti-heroes are essentially figures that can be used as heroes or villains. So really what you're getting is 4 different villains and 8 different heroes. But that's not really what you're getting, because also you're going to get Pyro, you're going to get Blob, you're going to get Toad. So that's 3 more villains right out of the gate. And then this is ridiculous, right? Because you're going to get all the stretch goals for $65. And, 3, 6, 9, 12, counting by 3s is hard, 15, 18, 21, 24, 20, see, I told you it's hard, 27, 30, 33 new heroes, again, all in that $65 pledge. You're going to get 5 anti-heroes, so that's another 5 heroes and 5 villains. And you're going to get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 more villains, plus the anti-heroes. So that's another 5 villains. All for your $65 pledge. Then you're also going to get, the promos boxes. Sometimes Simon promos come in a cardboard box. This one actually has a box separate. And that's important. Again, check out my reboxing video, because this box is going to be bigger than the base game box, and you're going to need that if you want to store all of this stuff. And then you get some superhero, supervillain cards, which do some extra special stuff. I don't even know. It's just a different gameplay mode, so another way that you can play. You also get the X-Force expansion. So this is going to be 4 more locations, so that's a total of 10 or 12 locations. And more heroes and another villain. It's insane. And this X-Force expansion, this was unlocked in stretch goals as well. Wow. That's the value for $65. I don't think you can beat this. Now, I backed at 100 right out of the gate because, I'm just going to go all in regardless. And the $100 one gives you everything I just mentioned, plus the Apocalypse expansion, which gives you 3 more villains, another mode of play, actually gives you 4 more villains, an anti-hero, and Storm Mohawk Edition, which is the first duplicate in the series. So that's another $35 to get just that. Now, if you're doing the math here, $35 to get, the Apocalypse expansion, but $65 is getting you, I don't know, 10 times the content. That's, but you have to do it, right? If you're going all in, you want all the content, it's going to cost you $35 to do this, which starts us down the slippery slope, because now let's take a look. We're going to talk about the uncanny pledge here. You get the Apocalypse pledge, so you get the Apocalypse expansion plus all the base stuff we just talked about. First Class, Blue Team, Gold Team, Phoenix 5, Deadpool, Days of Future Past, Fantastic Four, and then the X-Force, which is part of the base pledge. So all of these here, each one is another $30 on top of that. So let's take a look at each one of these just briefly. We have first class is, well, let's see if we can find, oh, also, you only get Old Man Logan if you go at the all-in $295 level. So let's take a look at these optional, they call them optional buys. For me, they were never optional, but for others, they're definitely optional. Days of Future Past, this is a new game mode. And they have 3 new different color. These are kind of like, I guess they're, I don't know, dark red. But in any case, these are moving around the board. This is a new gameplay method or mechanic for the villains, and I'm super fascinated by it. Honestly, it didn't matter what it was. It was another box of heroes and villains and a new gameplay mode. I was gonna back it. $45. This is probably the least. I don't know. If you're looking at just, price per miniature or price per gameplay stuff, $45 is a little expensive because you're getting 1 hero, you get 1 villain, and then you get these 3 giant sentinels. I guess, you have your hero this size and the sentinels are like this size, but they're big compared. So that's the most expensive one. Fantastic Four, these aren't X-Men, but the miniatures in the Fantastic Four set are really cool. You have silver plastic, you have clear plastic, you have red plastic, and you have 1 villain that has red, silver, or clear and red all in one, right? So I like the Fantastic Four, and I was not disappointed to see them here. Also, this actually has a new hero mode where the Fantastic Four fight as a team, and there are cards that are better depending on more of them that you have in play. So I think with Fantastic Four, you always want to play with all 4 heroes to maximize it, because if you play with only 1 hero, there are cards that will actually hurt them because they don't have, their team in play. And that's $35. $35 for another 5 heroes, an anti-hero, and a villain. So 6 heroes, 2 villains. Then we have Deadpool. Deadpool, the only thing I know about Deadpool is the movie, and I found the movie hilarious. So I'm very much looking forward to Deadpool, and I'm happy to spend $30 to see what they do with the Deadpool expansion. We have Blue Team and Gold Team. These are, both of them add team play, and both of them add a bunch of new heroes and another villain each. Team play is like team versus, essentially, again, you can do this with a 2-player game. I'm going to play 3 heroes, you're going to play 3 heroes, and we're both racing to defeat the villain, but we're kind of rivals in that. We're not fighting against each other, we're fighting against the same villain, but we want to be the team that takes him out. So that's cool. I'm interested to see how that plays out, and it's a fun way. I honestly think if I'm going to get my wife to play, it's the team play that's going to do it, because she'll get to play 1 set of heroes, I'll play another set of heroes, and there's actually some competitive nature in there, but we're not directly competing against each other. Then we have First Class. This is another set of duplicate heroes in a lot of cases, but again, it's just more heroes, more villains. Here we have Quicksilver and Wanda, Scarlet Witch, which were heroes in the original set, and now they're villains, and their figures are different, but here they're villains, so that's really cool to me. And then Phoenix 5, this is a bunch of villains. This is like the Sinister Six from the original. I don't know, it doesn't have the same gameplay mode because it doesn't have the same boards, but it still has 5 more villains. And really in this game, the villains are what create the replayability, because each villain plays so differently. The heroes, especially in this particular campaign, the heroes are more distinguished from each other, but ultimately what you're doing is based on the villain. So anything that's going to give me 5 more villains for an extra $30, that's just going to add a whole lot of extra gameplay. And then we have the accessories, plastic tokens. I'm a sucker for plastic tokens. Every time I don't get plastic tokens, I regret it, and then I go on eBay later and someone's selling them for twice as much. Mark my words, when these tokens come in and people start playing the game and they're like, oh, this is so great, they're going to go on eBay and they're going to see plastic tokens for, Marvel United. These are going to run $80 to $100, and they're going to sell like hotcakes, and you're not going to be able to find them. I am definitely picking up a couple sets of these. Again, we'll get to why in a second. The playmat is the one thing I'm going to pass on. I have the original playmat. It's just, for a solo player, having to go all the way around this huge board is, I don't do that, right? The way I play the game is I'm going to play, here's the discard pile, and here's the last 3 or 4 cards that I spread out, and I just throw them in the discard pile. There are some times where that line is affected, flip a card over, swap a card or whatever. I can go through the discard pile and do that. I don't need to like make this huge circular path around a giant table. In that way, I can play in a much smaller setting. I can play pretty easily. The cardboard villain boards. I got the cardboard boards for the locations in the original set, which is fine. I never even opened them. They take up so much space. And when I do my reboxing video tomorrow, you'll see that's not exactly going to be they're just not going to fit. The cardboard villain dashboards, though, I am interested in because these actually are going to fit a lot nicer. And there's still a bunch of them in the store, but I'm going to back at least one set of these because I want to play around with them, and I'm gonna have to get the classics because at this point I'm so far in, I gotta get everything. And then the X-Men cardboard locations, I'll probably pick up a set of these too, although again, I don't see a good reason for them. But having them is easier for me than not having them, and if I really decide like they're just pointless, I can always resell them on eBay again for $30-$40, no problem. Okay, and then you have all the optional classic stuff, which you can back. It's a little bit more expensive here, and you can't get the base game here, but you can get the base game anywhere online. So that's fine. So what is causing me to buy this double, like twice? Why am I backing this twice? Because I backed the first one twice, so why wouldn't I get this one? But it's not hard to do the math. $295 times 2 is $590. Plus I'm getting tokens, plus I'm getting the cardboard stuff. So it's all said and done, it's like $700, $750, something insane. It's just insane. And in order to fund this, I'm taking the pledge that I got from the first one, and I'm going to resell the second set I got. And that second set right now will resell about $450, $500, depending on how I break it up and how I sell it. So that will cover most of this second pledge. And I am just holding out that, hey, that second pledge is going to also maintain its value, at least maintain its value. So if I were to sell it at cost, I would still, based on what I can sell the classic stuff at, I would still come out ahead. But I think I could actually sell it for quite significantly more. I think that this is going to be a better reviewed game than the original because the heroes have a lot more variability. There's a lot more content here. There's a lot more villains. And there's going to be a lot of people. There's 25,000 people that backed it, but there's going to be a lot of people who wish they would have backed it and are going to be looking for this content. And I'm taking that risk. I don't normally speculate on games. This isn't something that I recommend other people do. I'm in a situation because, I got lucky with the first Kickstarter pledge that I have a little extra that I can put into this one. But yeah, I do think that I can actually come out even on this one. Most Kickstarters, it's not the case. Not even all CMON Kickstarters is that the case. I mean, it's hit or miss in a lot of cases. Rarely, though, do they ever go down in value. So worst case scenario, I back it twice and I sell it for essentially what I paid for it. That could happen, and that would be fine. So that's why I backed it all in. And twice. And I really think that this game is phenomenal. It's like a great solo experience. I have kids. My kids right now are 2 and 7 months. So it's going to be a while before they'd want to play this. But I can really see myself playing this with him. Oh, well, with him and them. And I'm looking forward to more chibi superheroes. They're chibi superheroes. If you don't like chibis, then you're not interested in Marvel United anyway, and you're not even watching this video. If the chibis don't turn you off, but you're looking for good gameplay, check out my reboxing video, where I show how I take all of this content and put it into a single box and play it. I focus those types of reboxings on gameplay and how easy it is to play and set up. And this is going to show you how much I really focus on the gameplay of this. And then the chibis are a separate thing. To me, they are a completely separate thing. I bought the chibis and it came with a good game. Now I have chibis and a good game. In this case, I'm buying a good game and the chibis, and in both cases, awesome. I don't use the miniatures when I play the game. And again, you'll have to check my unboxing video to see that. But anyway, that's why I backed Marvel United X-Men twice, because I think it's a good investment. I think it's not a good investment, but it's a safe investment. And we'll find out in a year if that's the case. I can hope, right? Fingers crossed. So this is a relaunching of the Tabletop Game Talk YouTube channel. And thank you. This is the first video I'm doing in the relaunch. I plan to do a couple videos a week probably. This is specifically subtitled, or I guess the Why Did I Back It series. There'll be a number of these. There'll be different, reboxing is another type of video I'll be doing. But I back a lot of Kickstarters, usually 2 or 3 a month. And I want to justify to myself, to everyone, why did I back it? I mean, what was going on in my head to press that all-in button? Because I never don't go all in. But yeah, if you're wondering what the previous videos on this channel are, there's not a lot. Some of them are very old. This is a podcast that I do with my friends Kitty and Fletcher. And we drop a new podcast every Tuesday. It's called Tabletop Game Talk. So you can always listen to us discuss various topical stuff. We don't really get into the weeds on games. We talk about game subjects as opposed to specific games. Specific games will come up within those subjects. But so if you're interested in that kind of stuff, please give us a listen in pretty much anywhere you find your podcasts, I think. If you're looking for it and you don't find it on some place, let me know and I'll try to make it available there. But that is Tabletop Game Talk with me, Chris Steele, on Why Did I Back It? Marvel United X-Men. All in. Twice. Have a great day.